In 2018, a whole Formula One team was sold for less than the price of a used car. Today, the average F1 team is worth $3.6 billion. All the teams together, worth $34 billion. And a car company called Cadillac just paid $450 million, only to be allowed to join. So, you want to own an F1 team. You're thinking sponsors, prize money, champagne. But here's the strange part. The thing rich people are really buying is not a racing team at all. So why would anyone pay $500 million just to get in the door? Keep that question in your head, because the answer explains how almost every fortune in modern sport was made. Let's start with the first surprise. You can't just show up. In almost any other business, if you have the money, you're in. You can open a shop, start a company, or buy some trucks. Nobody can stop you. But Formula One does not work like that. There are only 10 teams, 11 starting in 2026, and that's it. It's a closed club, and the club actually votes on whether they'll let you in. So when Cadillac wanted to join, building a fast car was not enough. They had to pay a special fee, around $450 million. Think of it as money paid to the other teams just to say sorry for taking a slice of their pie. $450 million. Before hiring a single engineer, before building a single part. That's just the entry ticket. So why would anyone pay that? Hold that thought. It's the key to this whole story. Because that closed door creates one powerful thing. It makes these teams rare. There will only ever be a few in the whole world. You simply can't make more. And for most of this sport's history, that rarity didn't save teams. It destroyed them. Let me show you. A team called HRT joined in 2010. Gone 2 years later. Caterham? Gone by 2014. Everything sold off, right down to the coffee machines. Manor? Gone by 2017. And in 2018, Force India ran out of money right in the middle of the season. Now, these were not foolish people. They were smart business owners who believed the exact same dream that you might have right now. The problem was simple. For most of F1's history, spending had no limit. But the money coming in, that did. So what does it actually cost to run a Formula One team? Until 2021, the honest answer was everything you had. The top teams were spending over $400 million a year. Not to win, just to keep up. One wind tunnel, used to test car shapes, could eat tens of millions on its own. A team might hire 1,000 people, just to put 2 cars on the track on race weekends. And here's what made F1 so brutal. In a normal business, if you spend more, you have more to sell. But in F1, if you spend more, you just go a little faster. And you can't sell faster. The spending burns your money right away, but it only earns money slowly. That gap is what killed the smaller teams. Then came one rule that changed everything. It's called the cost cap. Starting in 2021, teams were finally given a spending limit. By 2025, that limit was about $140 million a year. Now, quick note, that cap doesn't cover everything. It leaves out the big driver salaries, the top bosses, and marketing. A single star driver can cost $50 million a year, all by himself. So the real spending is still well over $300 million. But here's the part almost nobody understood at the time. The cap didn't just cut costs. It turned a money pit into a real business. Before the cap, owning a smaller team meant losing a war against Ferrari and Mercedes every single year. After the cap, that war had a ceiling. And suddenly, even a mid-level team could break even. In 2021, only 2 teams on the whole grid made a profit. Today, almost all of them do. One rule, that's all it took, to turn a 70-year-old money loser into something worth owning. Okay, so the costs are under control. Now, where does the money actually come from? An F1 team makes money in three main ways. The first one is prize money. The company that runs F1 shares about half of its income with the teams. That pot is now over $1.25 billion a year. In 2025, Ferrari alone took home around $277 million, and part of that is a bonus that Ferrari gets just for being Ferrari. The more you win, the more you earn. So moving up even one place can be worth tens of millions. The second way is sponsors. This is the big one, and it is growing fast. In 2025, the 10 teams pulled in about $2.5 billion from sponsors. That's up 22% in just 1 year. Mercedes alone made over $550 million. Because an F1 car is basically the most expensive billboard on Earth. It's on TV in 200 countries for hours, almost every weekend. And the third way is the owner's bigger picture. For Ferrari and Mercedes, the team helps sell their road cars. For Red Bull, the team helps sell energy drinks. The team doesn't have to make money on its own. It makes money by getting attention. And attention is exactly what exploded. In 2017, F1 was bought by a company called Liberty Media. And they made a bet that sounded crazy at the time. They let Netflix film everything. That show, Drive to Survive, turned team bosses into TV stars. And it turned a mostly European sport into a global obsession. 1 in every 4 fans today says that show is a big reason they started watching. New races in Miami and Las Vegas followed. More viewers, more sponsors, more money. So put it all together. Costs are capped, income is climbing, and nobody new can join without paying $500 million. You can see it now, right? This isn't just a sports team, it's a business with a wall around it. Now, let me tell you about the single best deal in modern sports. In 2018, a billionaire named Lawrence Stroll bought the broke Force India team for under $100 million. People laughed. They called it a rich dad buying a toy for his son. 7 years later, that same team, now called Aston Martin, is worth about $3.3 billion. That is more than 30 times the money. And get this, they did it without winning a single championship. Another old team, Williams, sold in 2020 for under $200 million. Today, every single team on the grid, even the ones finishing dead last, is worth at least $1.5 billion. Ferrari? Around $6.5 billion. Remember those dead teams from earlier? The ones sold for scraps? Same sport, just 10 years apart. So what changed? Did the teams suddenly get better at racing? Not really. What changed is what a team actually is. You think you're buying cars, a factory, and some trophies. But what you're really buying is one of only 11 seats in a global entertainment business. A business with a spending limit. A guaranteed share of $1 billion pot. And a giant advertising machine. The car is almost beside the point. The real product is being rare. It's the same reason an American football team can sell for billions, even with empty seats. You are not paying for how good they are. You're paying because nobody can ever make another one. And that is exactly why Cadillac happily paid $450 million just to get in. They weren't overpaying. They were buying the 11th copy of something the world will never make again. So, back to you. You wanted to own a Formula One team. Here's your real shopping list for 2026. Do you want to buy a team that already exists? That'll cost $1.5 to $6.5 billion. If anyone will even sell, and most won't, because the value keeps climbing every year. Or do you want to start a brand new team? You'll need $500 million just to enter. Then a full budget to spend each year, hundreds of millions for a factory and staff. And on top of all that, the 10 current teams get to vote on whether they even want you there. That window, where someone like Stroll could grab a team for the price of a nice yacht, that window is closed. It shut the moment the world realized what these teams had truly become. But here's the real lesson, and it is not be rich. For 70 years, everyone judged F1 teams by one question: does the racing make money? And the answer was usually no. So the teams looked worthless. But the people who made billions asked a smarter question. What happens if you cap the losses, grow the crowd, and lock the door behind you? The value was hiding in plain sight the whole time, priced at almost nothing, just waiting for someone to ask the better question. And that's the money behind a Formula One team. It's not a racing business that learned to make money. It's a rare treasure that just happens to go 200 miles an hour. Next time, a company worth $9 billion built on a machine that never actually worked, not even once. That's the money behind Theranos.